All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Brandis. I'm an account manager with Secure Video. I'm glad you could all join us this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're joining us from. But today we are going to have another in our series of customer education webinars regarding our branding feature. So just to kick us off today, I'd like to introduce my fellow panelists. We have Sabrina Smith, who's my fellow account manager, and Michelle Dong, also on the call. Michelle's our director of operations. So we are going to have the Q&A feature available for you as we go along. If you'd like to submit questions in the Q&A, Sabrina and Michelle are going to help me field those questions. We'll talk about some of those as they come in, or they may type responses as appropriate. So please know that that is there, and we can go ahead and dive right in. All right, we're going to be talking today about the branding feature in Secure Video. If you'll notice here, we have our little sample company. This is First Response Urgent Care. And then the highlight here is just showing how in Secure Video, there are some features that can help highlight certain brands within the platform. So this can make the product feel a little bit more like your own product as opposed to Secure Video's platform. So getting right into it, in the webinar today, we're going to be talking about why using branding is important. We'll talk about how this feature and using the feature can change both the user experience and the participant experience. So as users, as account holders in Secure Video, by using some of these features, you'll see your view change a little bit, as well as the participants when they're invited to sessions and what they would see. We'll also talk about how to use the branding features. I'm going to go through an example of exactly how to incorporate some of these features into your account. And then we'll talk about, at the end, we'll talk about some other customization tools that are available to you if you have some specific things that you want to just tailor within the use of your platform. All right, after the webinar today, I do always like to mention, we do send this recording link out via email. So the goal is for you to just take in the information, relax, enjoy what we're sharing with you, and then you'll have access to this recording afterwards. So if you want to refer back to anything that I said or look at how we did certain things, you'll be able to do that. But also, please remember that our support team is very engaged and is happy to help. So if you come across questions after and you'd like to get in touch with us for help with using any of the features that we covered today, we encourage you to please do that. And I'll spend some time at the end just letting you know how to best get in touch with us. All right, so to start with, just a little bit to get your brains thinking about branding this afternoon or today, I want to see if just on the next slide, even just by seeing little pictures or just little indications of some of these national brands, you'd be able to recognize them. So take a look at these. We have 3 brands here, and without even showing you the full name of the brand or any sort of text or anything, I'd feel fairly comfortable saying that probably most people on this call could identify the 3 brands that I have acknowledged here. So let's take a look at the next slide, and we'll see if you can pick these out. We have, of course, FedEx, we have Amazon, and then we have Mercedes-Benz. So the point I'm making here is that there's lots of reasons why companies and brands invest a lot of money and time into making sure that their logo is prominent and represents them well and is seen consistently across everything they do and everything they use. So why is that branding important? One, it goes down to everything from the colors that are being used, the shapes, just anything that's related to that image. It helps develop an image and the way that brand is perceived. So that's very important as to why companies use branding and try to keep that consistent across everything they do. Part of it too is just recognition. They want you to be able to recognize what their brand is when you're using it, with ultimately the goal of recall, so that you'll hopefully do business with them again in the future and remember their brand. And it's about building brand loyalty. In the healthcare space, one of the pieces of branding and what makes it important is that it builds credibility and trust. So the more you work with a brand, the more familiar you are with them, the more likely that you are to develop some trust in the brand. And so that's a piece of why it's important to think about using this feature in Secure Video if you're not already. But finally, just to point out, it does increase peace of mind when interacting with a brand. So especially in the space of telehealth, we're sending session invitations to our patients, clients, participants of telehealth sessions. and we're asking them to click on links and participate in things that they may not be as familiar with online. So seeing your healthcare practice's brand incorporated into their experience can help just increase their peace of mind throughout the whole experience. So that's one of the reasons that we encourage you to really think about using this feature and making it a little more specific to you. So let's talk about some of the things you can do in using the branding feature. First of all, to find it, you're going to be on your dashboard in SecureVideo. If you're logged in as an account administrator, you're going to go to the features drop-down menu, and you're going to see it here just in the branding section. And once you click on that, you're going to be able to do things like create a custom subdomain. You're going to be able to incorporate your logo. You're going to be able to include a branded company name, and we'll talk through some examples of what that may be and why that's important. And then also including a customized color palette. So as you're probably used to using SecureVideo, if you're not incorporating custom colors, you're used to seeing it more based on our system colors and our logo. But we'll show you some examples of how using the branding features can really completely change the whole view and the whole look of the platform. So to start, let's take a look at how applying some of these changes would change the provider experience or the account holder experience. So whether you are a single user in your system, or whether you have a larger healthcare practice with multiple providers, by applying these changes in the account, all of the users are going to start to see some of the same changes and the same effects. So let's take a look, first of all, at an unbranded SecureVideo dashboard. So this is a view that probably you're all pretty familiar with now. We have our host in this case. We're just calling her unbranded Josette. That's the name of our provider here. But some of the things to point out just about the dashboard are, I mentioned a custom subdomain. By default in SecureVideo, the URL that you're going to see at the top of your dashboard is going to be hub.SecureVideo.com, and then it's going to have some identifiers specific to your account. You'll also see, of course, the SecureVideo logo prominent at the top of the dashboard, which is fine. But the other thing is you're going to see SecureVideo's system colors down here. So we have just our basic black header here, the blue button for enter meeting, and then we have just a lighter yellow to denote any of the participants in the session. So let's take a look at what happens when we go in and apply some of these branding features to a dashboard and what it could look like. So my next slide is going to be, again, Dr. Josette, but applying some of these branding features. So you can see a pretty dramatic difference in the overall appearance. Now, if first response urgent care uses, let's say, this red, blue, and this lighter blue in all their materials and their website, in everything that they have consistently, it's going to make SecureVideo feel like more a part of the product suite that's associated with first response. So that can also benefit your account users themselves. So the hosts of your telehealth sessions or anyone that you have logging into SecureVideo, it's going to feel more like an internal product. I'll point out at the top, here's a change to the custom subdomain. So in this one, just assuming, for example, that first response might have a website like firstresponse.com, you can request your subdomain to better reflect what your website is and have it be a little bit more consistent. So in here, we put firstresponse.securevideo.com. Now your custom subdomain is always going to have that piece, the .securevideo.com, but here, this first part is where you can have some customization there. You'll also see here the first response logos incorporated now, of course, and then the branding colors that are associated with that account. So that's how the host view would change, or the account user page would change when they log into their dashboard. Let's look at how the participant experience would change. So here is an example of an emailed invitation when unbranded Josette or Dr. Josette Mondanaro invites a participant to their session. So this is pulled right from a screenshot of an email. It's going to show here demo company. This is the branded company name as it was set up. So when this account was originally created, it was probably set up just as demo company or maybe some standard legal name. This may apply to some of you if you happen to use, let's say your practice name is something LLC or something, incorporated, or even if you use a DBA, doing business as. So your legal name may actually be different from what you would want to list publicly here as your branded company name. So down here, we have the SecureVideo logo, of course, and then SecureVideo's branded colors on the emailed invitation. So for an emailed invitation that was sent from a branded account, this is how it would appear. So you have up here, first response urgent care being the company's branded name. This is how it would appear here. You have your host name, of course, here in the header. And then you have the first response customized logo, but it's also pulling in any of the custom colors that you've applied down into, let me go back, down into the participant's email as well. So again, from the start, when they first open their emailed invitation from you, they're seeing more of a representation of your company and your brand as opposed to Secure Video. Now, the next step for a participant is they're going to click on this join session when it's time to go and enter their session, and that's going to take them to their virtual waiting room page. So on that page, for an unbranded virtual waiting room page, it's going to look like this. They're again going to have the standard hub.SecureVideo.com domain here, and they're going to have the Secure Video logo, which of course is fine. But if you look at that against a branded virtual waiting room page, you can see again the custom subdomain here, and then the custom logo, all just again giving the participant to this session a little bit more confidence that they are working with a practice that they're already familiar with. All right. From there, we do have the option to send notifications via text as opposed to sending them via email. So I wanted to show you just the difference if someone's looking at this on mobile as well. So here is the virtual waiting room page if a participant has clicked on their text message versus a branded virtual waiting room page. So even on your mobile device, when your participants are joining you through their phone, you can see the difference in the two when you use the feature. All right, so let's get into it a little bit on how to apply some of these changes. So we're going to do this just by using a fake brand that I made up. It's called Friends Wellness Center. I just pulled in 3 colors that differ pretty dramatically from Secure Videos so that we can really take a look at applying some of these differences and how that would look. So I'm going to go here to a dashboard in the system. And so this is, my Dr. Catherine Brandis dashboard. Again, this is an unbranded dashboard. To start using the branding feature, we're going to go up here to Features and Branding. Now, there's 2 different things that may occur when you get here. If you're using the branding feature at all, for example, if you've already gone in and created your branded company name, or you may have already applied a custom subdomain, you'll get this page, which allows you to go in then and then make changes to your branding. But if you do get to this page and you see a screen that says your account is eligible for branding, then the option there would be Add Branding. So just go ahead and click that. And that's going to take you to this page that brings you to all the different sections of where we can make some of these customizations. So starting up here at the very top, we're going to have the opportunity to upload a logo. So here I've got my logo ready to go. I've got Friends Wellness cropped. I'm going to put that in there. The logo does need to be in PNG format. And if you need a little bit of help with that or converting a logo from a different format, our support team can help you with that as well. So just by making that one change there, you see I've uploaded my logo here. I'm going to go down here to the bottom and click Save. And we're going to look at already the difference and that makes. So instead of the Secure Video logo, now, of course, we have our Friends Wellness Center. So I'm going to go back in here to change branding, and we'll keep going down the page and look at some more options. Here is the legal entity name versus the branded company name that I mentioned earlier. So we've got our legal entity name in this case as Friends Wellness Center LLC, but maybe that's not the name that you really want to appear when you invite someone to a session. If you'd rather it just simply be Friends Wellness Center, you would put that name in the branded company name field here. And these next couple of fields are where you would change your your subdomain if you would like to request a custom subdomain. I went ahead and did this in advance because once you put in your requested custom subdomain, it does take 90 minutes for that change to apply. So the system will indicate once you submit it that it takes 90 minutes to go back in and apply that. So I just wanted to show you the kind of the finished product here. So we've already changed mine to friends.SecureVideo.com, which you can see is reflected up here in the URL. Now let's get into the system colors. So this is where we can really start to have some fun and play with the appearance of the dashboard. I'm going to click here to customize system colors. And you'll see here all the different elements of the Secure Video dashboard and what the system already has as the colors by default. So when we looked at the unbranded dashboard, this is all the colors that we were seeing. So the main thing I can tell you as far as advice on how to change these colors is to look for lights and darks that complement your own logo or your own colors. Now, in this case with Friends Wellness Center, you can see I've got this sort of really light teal color in the background. I've got a bright green and then like an ambery orange color. So I'm going to look through here and see where I might apply some of these colors, within the different system elements. One of the ones that I really like to change is this primary buttons background, and I'll show you how to do that. You simply come over here and click on the color that already exists. Now, if you already know like the RGB values or the hex values, or if you know a color value associated with the color you're using, you can enter it here and it will find that for you. But another great tool is to simply use this eyedropper tool. So I'm going to take this eyedropper here and bring it up here to my logo and where I have that in. And you can see the system will just grab that color that's already included in my logo and just apply it here. So there I've changed that from a nice blue to the green that's incorporated with my logo. Then let's go down here. Here's another one. I'm going to take this one, use the eyedropper again, and I'm going to pull in that amber color. If I can get on it, there we go. So there's a change I can make there. And then let's say for this dashboard panel one, again, we've got a light color here. Let's look for another light. We're going to use the eyedropper tool, pull it in here. And then now I've made just 3 pretty general changes to the system colors. So let's take a look at what that did. To do that, you can click this Save and Test Colors. And this is going to show you how the changes that you just made would be applied to your Secure Video dashboard. So to do that, let's just go here and look at the home page now. Oops, sorry. Get out of that. Here's where we're going, video conference to the home button. And you can see that even just the few changes that I've already made have made a big difference in the overall appearance to the dashboard. Now, one thing I do like to point out is as you're playing with this and setting some of the colors, you may find yourself making a color choice. And when you go to apply it, you realize, oh, that really doesn't look that great, or I don't really like the way that looks. You can go, when you go into branding, and hit basically what I call the reset button. You can go here and just click remove customizations. And that will revert you back to the automatic system colors. So if I go back to my dashboard now, I can see it's back to the way that I started. So that's a good tool if you're just going in here and playing with it and trying to figure out, the way you want this to appear and what you think looks good. You do have basically kind of an undo function. So from there, I'm going to go back in, just apply a couple of these things again, just to get the dashboard looking the way I want it to. We'll pull in this teal or this mint color here, I guess. Change the primary buttons background to this green. And then we'll change this one to this orange color. All right. So once I save, again, I'll go back to the video conference or the home tab and see my changes applied here. All right, I feel like this is a good place to pause and maybe take any questions. Sabrina, Michelle, have we had any questions come up in the chat yet?
Not yet, but okay. Certainly anyone could ask now.
Yes, any questions if you guys have, please feel free to type them in there and we will try to address any of the questions that are coming in. All right, and I will just continue on. We're going to go through some of the other features that are available on the branding page. All right, Michelle, Sabrina, just stop me if you see anything coming in and we need to touch on it. All right, so going back in, again, I'm going back to this changing branding. We're going to continue down to a couple other customizations that can be made in the account. The next one is custom top menu. Now, this is one that I'm betting probably most people aren't as familiar with, but this does allow you to include additional menu items within your Secure Video dashboard. So we have up here our standard ones: video conference, chat, scheduling, support. If you needed to add an item to this navigation and have that link to something else, you can do that in 2 different ways. And let's just talk through kind of an example of what that might be. If I click add menu item, let's say that I would like something over here to take me to my company's EMR that I'm using. So let's just call this my EHR. Down here, you can include a link. So if you have a link to where a user would go to log in to their EMR, you can include that there. And in this example, I'm just going to put in, let's see, I'll just put in SecureVideo.com's link so I can at least put something in there. 1 second. Copy and paste that over. And so that's going to add that additional menu item to that. And once you click save, you'll see that. And now we have that additional item up here across the top. Now, the reason that's appearing up there across the top is because right here, I had it set to above Secure Video navigation menu. So that's going to include that menu item right here above the other navigation items. But you can choose to take that same navigation item and include it in line. So in line, meaning that it would appear here as an additional item across this top navigation. So by making that change and clicking save, you can see now that my EHR is included as part of this navigation. So this can really be used for any link that would be used internally for yourself or your users. If you want to add an easy link to get somewhere else, or your EHR or any other example that you might have. And then another one is down here at the end. You can include, if you use OneClick as your video engine, you can include a waiting for host image. So this way, if you have a participant that's joined your OneClick session and you're not quite there in the session yet, you can choose a file from your computer. And here's my little Kate picture here. So you can include a JPEG image of, let's say, yourself, if you have a professional photo that you'd like for the participant to see while they're waiting for you to join the session. That can be applied there. So those are some of the customizations that you can do with our branding feature here. I do want to show just from the patient perspective. If you noticed, we had a session here scheduled on the dashboard with a participant with Holly Flax. Let's take a look at Holly's experience just by me making those changes in the few minutes that we've been together on this webinar. This is what the virtual waiting room page looked like initially. And then if I just click refresh, now that I've applied all these changes to branding, you can see right away that logo is going to change. And then the primary button to enter is going to be more aligned with your colors. All right. So now from there, just continuing on, a couple other customizations that we wanted to highlight today. One is called Notification Customer Extensions. Now, this is a tool that's going to be available, again, from your Secure Video account in the Features drop-down menu. And down here, Notification Customer Extensions. And what this is it's going to allow you to include custom text in your emailed invitations and reminders. And this can be, any number of things that you may just want to include as customized messaging to your participants. But some examples and some more frequent use that we've seen of this feature are, one is being a cancellation policy. We've had a lot of customers reach out and want to include something as part of their invitations and reminders about a proper way to cancel a session and a certain policy that their practice follows. So to incorporate something like this, again, you go up here to the features and then Notification Customer Extensions. And you're going to see a couple of options here for these that already exist. The way we're going to apply that cancellation message or any other custom text is by using this one. And it's going to be Insert Text Below Join Session button. So what that's saying is that when I receive an emailed invitation like this, we have our Join Session button that goes on the email. This is going to apply some custom text right here in this space underneath the Join Session button. So that's where that would be seen by your invitee. And then to change that, you simply click Edit here, and you start typing in your extension text. So in this example, I'm just going to say, this is my cancellation policy. Once you click Save, it's going to apply that text here. And then you can go back in at any time and edit it if you need to, or use Clear to remove that. So let's look at what that looks like. And what we're going to do is just send Holly a reminder. So that reminder was sent. Let me just make sure that Holly's getting this by email. Yes, she is. Okay, so if I go back into the emails and look at this reminder now that I just received, here is where it's going to have that customized text. So you can see this is where I just typed in, and that's the text that's included. So that's a great way to just add some additional information if you'd like that. Just the thing to remember about this feature is that any text that you apply here is going to go out for every user for the entire account. So just make sure it's something consistent that you'd like included on every emailed invitation or reminder. The other one that's available is if you'd like to include a participant first name, or a name. By default, Secure Video does not include the names of participants in our emailed notifications. But the best example I can remember is someone recently came to us and said, my practice is a pediatrics practice. We sometimes serve, multiple children within a family, and the invitations and reminders are going to the parents of multiple children. So they'd like the participant name included so that they know exactly which child this is for. So I thought that was a great example of why you would include this. So to use that one, you would just use this include participant name, click edit, and then type in this case, you would just simply include what you'd want it to say, prior to the participant name. So you could just type dear, for example. Then what it's going to do is pull in the participant name as you have it entered for that session. So if I click save here, then when I send out email notifications, it's going to go out to dear Holly Flax, because that's how I entered the participant's name. So just something to keep in mind as you are looking at ways that you can tailor your account and make it a little more specific to your practice. All right, and then finally, I wanted to touch on custom links. So this is another feature that can allow you to just use links to any website, whether that be your own practice's website or external links if you wanted to provide some resources to your participants. But these links appear on the virtual waiting room page. So if you use, and let's just pull in an example. Let's just say for this Friends Wellness Center, we wanted to provide a resource and show the Department of Health and Human Services resource for Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website. So if you wanted this to be included, you could just copy this link. I'm going to pull this over here. And from the dashboard, you would just go to Features and then Custom Links, New Custom Link. And then we're going to include that link right here. So we're just going to paste it in. Now the label for it can be however you'd like to label that. So if you wanted to call it just Substance Abuse Helpline, then you have show to users now, which basically means, is this active or not? So we want to yes, we want to show to users now. And then once we click save, what you'll see is that any participant for the session, when they have their virtual waiting room page here, they're now going to see those custom links appear. So they show here as a second link that they can click on. And so that label that I just applied is going to appear right here. And then if your participant clicks that link, it's going to take them right to that website that you'd like to share. So again, this could be links to your own internal website if you'd like them to read certain resources or have access to, let's say, your practice's policies. You can include that as a custom link there. So those are just a few ideas of ways that you can incorporate not only your logo, your branding, your colors, custom text, custom links, just ways that you can make Secure Video feel just a little more personalized to your own healthcare practice. And with that, I will, open it up to any questions that we may have. Let's see.
So we do have one, just got a clarification on it.
Okay. Sorry, looks like we're waiting on a clarification on that one. 1 minute. And if you have other questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A feature to send those in. Okay. The photo you chose before, where would that show up? Ah, the photo, yes. So the question is, where would the photo appear, like the photo of myself that I showed? So that would appear when the participant joins a session, if you're using OneClick as your video engine. Now in Secure Video, you have the option to use both Zoom or OneClick. So this one is only available if you're using OneClick as your video engine. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, we have other resources and other information we can share with you. Just get in touch with our support team and we can help clarify, answer some questions around that. But if the participant were to go and join the session, if you'll notice, this one is being held in OneClick. Let me pull up Holly's waiting room page here. Once they go in and enter the session, one second, I'm going to go off camera so I don't get an error here. And here, let's see. This is where that photo should appear, but I think I might have done something wrong. Michelle, any thoughts on this? applying the, when I applied the one-click waiting room image.
Did you remove the? mm, Sorry, did it finish uploading?
Sorry, maybe it didn't. Yeah, we'll have to go back and check on that. That should be where it appears, though, is when your participant logs into the one-click session, that image would appear if the provider hasn't yet joined. I just might not have done it quite correctly. All right, we got some other questions rolling in. Let's see, will you be sending a PDF of instructions for this training? So we have the recording of this webinar that we'll be sending out. We also have in our knowledge base, which is, I'll get to where to get to access all of that in a bit. But just to show you where some additional resources and a walkthrough, including screenshots of everything we've covered today, can be found. Okay. Michelle, any others questions that we should touch on? And if not, I will continue on and just show those support resources in closing. Right.
Oh, sorry, I might have been answering a question at the time.
Yeah.
Did you go over having the logo linked to your own website?
Oh, I did not. No. So we can show that. Let me just pull back up the website here. Okay. So when you have your logo appear up here in the top corner, by default, by clicking that, it takes you to SecureVideo.com. But by using in the branding page, you can choose to have your logo click to your own website from here. So if you want to do that, you would just simply add a menu item here. And if you leave this blank right here, that means that whatever URL that you're putting in this section is going to be applied to this logo whenever you click on the logo. So if you want your logo, when it's clicked, to go to your own website, you can apply that website URL right here. Just make sure you leave this menu text or other item, just leave it blank. Okay. Any other questions, Michelle?
I don't see any others come in.
Okay.
Last call, if anyone out there is curious. And then, of course, they can always email support@SecureVideo.com if they think of any later.
Thank you. Yep. All right. And yeah, just to go over that, where you can find support resources, I always do like to end by pointing this out. In your dashboard and in your Secure Video account, you can click on support here. It will take you to this page that has our call number, our email address, Michelle just mentioned, support@SecureVideo.com. Or we always have our live chat widget. And so during business hours, if you'd like to chat in and speak with a live support agent, you're welcome to use that as well. All right. And if there are no other questions, we'll just wrap up by saying thank you so much for spending time with us today, learning about these additional resources and features available to you. And we look forward to helping you with any other further questions that you might have. And we're hoping to see that some of you that have attended this webinar today start incorporating the branding feature. Just please let us know how we can help you. And thank you so much for attending. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.